Welcome to this video on Ucamco presents UcamX WE. Now, what is UcamX WE? It's a rich workflow client that's based on Ucamco's world-renowned UcamX CAM seat. WE actually stands for Workflow Edition. So why are we offering this to our customers? Actually, we offer it to make your life easier. And who are we offering it to? Who gets this? Every integrated customer that's on a warranty or with an active maintenance agreement gets one UcamX WE license for each of their cockpit added license. So this is definitely part of our delivery for our maintenance customers. What are we going to show in the video? We're going to verify the license and prepare integrator, followed by the installation of the UcamX, the installation of the UcamX WE script and the setups, some optional configuration, and then we're going to show common use cases covered by the current script that we are providing. Some notes: if you're watching this on YouTube, please check the description box as it has index markers which allow you to switch to or to jump to specific sections without having to fast forward. If you haven't already, watch the integrator V2020-08 release video for examples on using UcamX WE without the UcamX WE script. The link to this video is in the description. You should contact your local support team to get the UcamX WE script and the setups. Also contact them for an updated license if yours doesn't have the UcamX WE keys. And finally, contact your local sales channel. If you do not have integrator yet, if you like what you see over here, what Ucamco is doing with integrator, then definitely contact our local sales channel and ask them about it. You should also contact them if your maintenance has lapsed. And if you like what you saw over here, you should really have your maintenance agreement current. So let's get started. So here I am on my integrator server machine, and what we're going to do here is do some quick verifications. And what we're going to do is, first off, on my machine here, my license is in Ucamco Flex LM. It's called Ucamco USA Integrator. I just want to open it up with a text editor and verify that we have indeed our workflow edition keys in here. And they are all indicated with the _we. So my license is fine. Since we will be using this license on our clients, we need to have access to them. And rather than copying this file to the local clients, it's way easier if we just point to them. For that, we need to share it out. Now on the system, we can, for example, we can share out the entire Ucamco folder, or we can just share out the FlexLM folder. Whatever you're more comfortable with. In either case, what you do, if it's Ucamco, you just go to properties, you say sharing, and you can share over here. For particular users, if you are under the domain, you can do like everyone, or another example would be to use the FlexLM. And then there, if we look at sharing advanced, actually over here, sorry, we see that we have everyone can access it, but they can only read it. So that is a kind of secure way that people can access the license file without anyone being able to override it. So in my case, that's shared. So you need to get to the point of where you can see when you go like this integrator that you either have Ucamco shared or FlexLM shared. Yeah, so I got FlexLM over here. That's what we need to do on the server side. That's it. Now I am on the system that I'm going to install my UcamX WE on. So this already has integrator installed, the cockpit that is. And we need to now install the client and do some setups. So in the downloads, I've already downloaded my UcamX installer. I also got the UcamX script and the setups from the support channel. So let's get started. Let's double click this. If you are getting a security warning from Windows, then just choose run anyway. It's safe. So the install anywhere client is preparing. It's on compressing. And we are kicking in. Welcome. Installation of UcamX. So yeah, so for those people that are familiar with installing the UcamX client because they're running it as a CAM system, you will notice that the installer is exactly the same because this is UcamX. So a license agreement, we are not going to go and read that in the demo or in the video. You can just accept it and click on next. In the next install set, you should check every single one of these. And then when you click next over here, we're choosing UcamX. So there's no UcamX WE, just choose UcamX. Next, leave this on. Next, what unit do you want to work in? So this is your choice. Whatever unit you would like to have the UcamX WE start up in, that is what you should choose here. I'm going to choose mill on my system. Where do you want to install it? Install it in C Ucamco. That should be the default. If it's not, type that in. We're going to create a CFG directory. Just take the default, create a new one in Ucamco. Then here is the license file. So where do we need to go here? Actually, remember that we shared that out. So let's click on choose, go to the network, go to our integrator. Let's go to FlexLM in my case. Then we let it search that, pick that up. And when it comes back, we will pick up our integrator, our Ucamco USA integrator.dat file. There we go, open. So it shows like this, that's fine. Click next. And finally, install. So this will install all the necessary components of the UcamX WE client. So we're using Java 11 in this version. If you are installing this later on, it might be Java 12, 13, 14, whatever, it doesn't matter. We're installing everything that's required. So the messages over here may be different when you are doing it because you might be installing a different version. All right, finally here, the user account management. What are we going to do here? Actually, this is only for people who do not use software. Our competitors are known for this, that are using the home variable. So how can we check this? Go to your File Explorer, right-click, choose Properties, Advanced System Settings, and Environment Variables. If you either see home defined here or home defined here, then do not click on Enable over here. I will show you after this is done what you need to do. I can do this safely, and I'm gonna put this to Ucamco home. So again, for anyone who does not have the home already defined for another software, type in C:\Ucamco\home and click enable. This will give this message, and then you click OK, and then you say next. So that is the installer. All right, so what if you are one of these customers that does have other software running that takes the home folder? What do we do? So again, this is only for those customers, you go to C Ucamco, UcamX bin, and you look for a file called ucam_env.bat. Sorry, but that's the way it is. You open that up with the editor, and then over here, you are defining that same Ucamco home that we defined inside the installer, right? So if you are in this situation, if you are not in this situation, you defined it before and you still want to do this, then that is fine too. It doesn't hurt if you did this, but that's how you have to do it. Okay, what's next? Next is we are gonna grab the home from that zip file that we got from our support folks, and you're going to put that in the Ucamco folder. They may already be one, that's fine. Just click paste. If it asks you has 10 files with the same names or 2 files or no files, it doesn't matter. Replace them, put them in there. That gives us our presets. Then we go back to our zip file and we're gonna grab the 2 UcamX_WE files here. And for those, we're going to Ucamco, Tools. You create yourself a UcamX WE folder because you probably don't have it. So let's take this out. You create one. How do we create one? Just make a new folder, UcamX, UcamX_WE. And you paste those 2 files in there. And then finally, you go back one more time to this file. And what you want to do here is 2 things. First off, open this up in a text editor. That's step number 1. And then over here, just grab that. Yeah, just select it, do a Control-C. This is one that we have to define. This is a environment variable that we are going to define here. So as a user, I can do it here. If this system is being used by multiple users, it actually makes sense to define it as a system variable. I'm going to define it as a system variable. So what do I do here? I'm actually typing in UcamX_WE_options. And then I paste what I got out of my text editor. Click OK, click OK, one more time OK, and close. Yep, so that is what we do as definition, as setup of the different things. Okay, let's do one more thing. Let's go to our C Ucamco home and let's go to our ucam.db over here. Right click on it and say, like, open it up with a text editor, any text editor. In my case, I use Notepad++. And here we need to make sure that, and you probably have this one preset already, and the one copy that I have, it's not yet in there, so I'm typing it in. But the important thing is that what we need to fill in, this is to make sure that the 2 systems communicate. So in the integrator.host entry, make sure that you fill in the name of your integrator machine. In my case, this was integrator. Remember how we went to integrator, right? So my integrator machine is called integrator. Yours may be something different. Yep. Over here, and this is the optional part of the setup, is the integrator user. This is how, when you are using the software, how it will show in the cockpit which user is actually has the UCAM open with a job. So If you don't have, you probably don't have the Ucamco user, so you just fill in how you're logging in, yeah, or how you want to see it. In my case, I have a user called Luke, so I'm filling that in. Save. Anything else, leave it alone. And before I start my cockpit, so here's my entry, my username. One thing that you should know about the installer, since it is the UCAM installer, installs shortcuts. However, when you click on them, it will tell you no license available for UCAM. This is normal because this isn't pure UCAM, this is UcamX WE, and UcamX WE can only get started from within integrator, from within the cockpit. So let's click on OK here, and I actually suggest that you delete these shortcuts, unless of course you have the real UCAM installed, then do not delete them. But if you are doing this purely for UcamX WE, delete the shortcuts. All right, let's log in. And we have some jobs that we already put in the queue that we're going to use as examples for showing you what UcamX can do. Now, how do we get from here to UcamX? Well, look down here. There's an icon that says to UCAM. So we're using the old name from before the UcamX. It also doesn't say we, it just says UCAM, but this is the one you click. So when you do this, it will open up the UCAM. Now, it does this already on my system. However, on yours, it may say something different, and we'll go back to that in a moment. But while I have this one already open, I might as well take advantage of it. So this one had no drill. So it stopped. It says, hey, I don't have a drill. I can't give you a full report. So we need to get a drill file in there. You would now typically, you would contact your customer, ask for the drill file, put it together with the zip, and launch it as a new entry in Integrator, which is of course perfectly fine. Unless you're using an external system to submit the data into the software, and you've already provided a whole lot of other information, you may not want to redo that, or you may not want to like have two entries in your other system for this particular job. So it might be handy to just add the drill file. So that's what we're going to do. Over here, one of the options is add a drill file. Continue. This allows you to add the drill file to the current integrated job. I'm going to go, it defaults to ctemp, but in my case, the files are over here on my desktop. This is the file, no drill. It imported the drill. You see how it shows it. I now have drill holes. Import is complete. I click continue. What do I want to do? I want to go back to integrator and do a job save. So we'll do what it says, job save. And then it says click continue. It will quit the job and we're going back. All right, so notice how it says Luke UCAM. So when someone else sees that this job is locked, they can very clearly see that it was me who had the job open in UCAM. Now before, one of the things that when I clicked onto UCAM, it kicked right in, but you could have this message. So let's simulate this. It may tell you local files should be enabled to open a file. Use the preference editor to enable. So how do we do that? Preferences over here, like when you open this the very first time, unless you're using already other clients like Checkpoint, it will be blank. So switch this on, click on retrieve. This will show the path as it is on the integrator server machine. And then over here, you're going to provide the name of a mapped drive. In my case, I mapped a drive, a Z drive, but I could also have mapped, for example, the I for integrator drive. And a lot of people have it like this, where they have the i8 folder. That's the one we need, the i8 share. So let's mount it as an I drive. And then over here, we need to have the I drive, but I also need to have from the I drive, I need to work. So let's type that in like that, save, close and continue. So no netlists. What's that all about? Well, why do I care? Well, actually, I care in this particular case because if we look at the job, this job has multiple blind and burieds. They have like regular vias, micro vias, and they have the same span. And you know what? I mean, it's not an overcomplicated board, but still, we do need to have the entire netlist needs to be correct. Yeah. So what do we do? Well, even though this is an ODB, ODB often has built-in netlist. This one did not. So we're going to use our UcamX WE to add in a IPC file. So I asked my customer that, hey, can you please send us an IPC 356, which I put on my desktop folder. And now after starting up, I'm going to add an IPC 356 netlist. So it's just to confirm, this allows you to add, yes, continue. This is in my same folder. Here's my 356 file. And the import is complete. So what did it do? Well, it added 2 netlist layers to the job. I can click continue, back to integrator. Yes, that's what I want to do. So it's going to tell me save the job. And then I click continue and it's going to quit. All right. By the way, this has now processed with my drill file. Yeah, so you see that as soon as I save the job and I close out, it will automatically put the job further into auto analysis. So the whole process works automatically that way. Let's take a look at the next example, which is no outline. So we see already here from the image that integrator didn't find an outline. Of course, we know that we can define over here in integrator, we can define our own outline. However, I would like to have the actual outline rather than taking a rectangle, which is what we can do inside the cockpit. So let's go and bring this up in our UcamX WE. And then we look at the script, and there's probably an option in there that tells us to make or create an outline. So the job's loaded. Option now is create an outline. Continue. Review all the layers to see if there's one you can use to grab an outline, or if you find one, put in color 1. If not, then put the top layer back in color 1. So let's have a look. Nothing there, nothing there, nothing there, nothing there. Oh, well, that's actually pretty darn close. Now, integrator is capable of doing some amazing things with outlines that are not perfectly closed. However, this is just too much. So this is the one we're going to use as a starting point. We're going to click continue. It appears you found one. Do you want to select it? Yes. And try using select chain. So select chain, I'm just going to go through the motions. I know that when I click continue, it's going to tell me that the outline isn't closed. Yeah, so it tells me, hey, the outline isn't closed. So it says, hey, it's not closed. Make sure you make it a closed one. So what I do here now is it has this aperture already nicely selected. I can open up my toolbox. In the toolbox, I need the drawing of a line, and I'm gonna use the snap to point to say click here, drag over there. You see the little blue line? It snaps automatically to the starting point of the line. I click once and one more time to confirm. So now I have, if all goes well, If there's no other opening, by the way, you can hit escape to get out of the insert drawer, like doing that. Be sure to make it a closed one. I think we have a closed one. Let's check. And sure enough, we have a closed one. So click continue to proceed. What would you like to do? Back to integrator, continue, job, save, and continue, quit. And we're going to take the next example. Now I named this one pretty obviously selective gold. What is this one? Well, if I have a README text that says there's selective gold present. I look in the job. There is no selective gold anywhere here. But there is a picture that says, hey, this is gold. This needs to be gold plated. All right, so to UcamX WE. And you see that it's totally in parallel. So this is independent. I can have jobs running and opening up other jobs in UcamX WE. Of course, I can only open up UcamX WE in my network as many times as I have a license. So over here, the option is going to be create selective gold mask. Continue. Does it have? So why is that in there? Just to double check that you didn't accidentally choose that option. So does it have? Yes. Leave the box checked. Continue. Select the features for the top gold mask. Well, in this case, I'm going to use one of my methods to figure out which aperture this is. And this corresponds with, I can switch back over here, look at my picture. Yep, that's what I needed. And I will say continue. Now on the bottom side, there are no select gold features, but it said select them, but no selections are okay. So let's continue. This created the selective gold layer, or the gold mask layers actually. And now we can say continue, back to integrator, job, save, continue, quit. Yeah, so let's double check this guy now. This is the one we added the 356 file to it. Good. Net compare passed without errors. Perfect. And then we can basically ignore these span messages because, hey, if the netlist is okay, then I'm sure that these files are fine the way they are. The no outline one is also finished processing, so we see nicely now that we have an outline. Perfect. And let's take a look at, so here the selective gold. I may have shown that before that we don't have information, but now if we go to the gold or the copper areas and the gold areas, we see that there is a gold mask with the information we need. Perfect. Now we can quote how much gold we need on there. And then our final example for this video, shorting border. So when we click on one of these layers, we see that this particular customer, they have gold tips, but they shorted them together. A lot of design systems are doing that. Obviously, it doesn't make a lot of sense because that's not the way we're going to process them. And if we run a report on this, which integrator was perfectly capable of doing, since we don't have the exact netlist, we are probably also not going to have the right results on the clearances and everything. So one more time, we're going to our UCAM. And we are going to remove that. And here we are, jobs loaded. So this option would be remove the shorting outline, is how it's called over here. continue, select the shorting outline on one layer. I'm going to use my select chained, which already gives me most of it, but I also want this part of it, even though they're obviously not shorting this, but this is part of the entire outline. And they are not fully closed over here, so that's why you see how they are not exactly touching. And by the way, integrator made that all, closed it all up for us to make the outline. Yeah, it tells us that over here, that it used one of the layers as the outline. But in our case, what we want to do, so we select on one layer, select the shorting outline on one layer, click continue and on, continue. So we're automatically grabbing the layers everywhere where it needs to be removed. We remove it, and we don't care about this stuff. We can leave that on there, even though, of course, later on in the CAM department, we're gonna take that out. But this is outside of our outline, so we do not care. So back to integrator, job save, continue, and quit. And now we will see that in a moment when integrator updates our pictures, we will see that the shorting outline has disappeared on this job. Okay, so this concludes the video on the UcamX WE. Thank you very much for your attention. Contact your local sales channel to find out more. If you don't have a maintenance or you want integrator, contact your local support channel to get the scripts and help if you need it to get this set up. Thank you.